Good morning, everyone. We want to welcome you to our webinar today. We're excited to have Ryan McBee with us from iSolutions, and he's going to be presenting on how to put accounts receivable on autopilot. And before I pass it over to Ryan, I just want to remind you that we are recording this session and it will be posted to our on-demand webinar library for you to review and share with anyone. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and you will be able to address any questions to Ryan throughout the webinar session. So we're going to try something a little bit different, make it more open and more comfortable for everyone. So you'll be able to address any questions with Ryan as we go along. So now I'm going to pass it on over to Ryan to kick off our presentation.
Hey, Angie, thank you for teeing this up for me. My name is Ryan McBee from iSolutions. I know some of you guys are from Innovia on the call and you've seen the app before, and we got some cool features. So I look forward to showing you those features today. And as Angie mentioned, I would love for you guys to chime in as we go along. Sometimes when I do these demos and webinars, it always feels like there's no one on the other end. And then when there's questions along the way, it, just kind of stimulates and, makes things go along better. So feel free to chime in whenever you need to. So our app works for Business Central. Right now, I'm going to show you, this is our app within the App Store. We have one of the highest rated apps out there right now. As you guys know, we're adding some really cool features to it. Today, I'm really going to focus on our collections management feature for Business Central. We have really two options to do collections. Number one is we've got what we call kind of like a collections light module that's directly within Business Central. And number two, we have, if you need something a little bit more, we have a sync with a tool called invoice.com. It's a award-winning accounts receivable automated solution. They've got canned integrations with things like NetSuite, QuickBooks, all really the major accounting packages. So given that, I'm going to go ahead and hop into Business Central. And so the first thing you want to do is install our app, which if you go to under setup and extensions, you're going to see our app listed there. The second thing you're really going to do is you're going to hop in here and go to a customer record. And before the call, I went ahead and I set up a customer called Innovia. And, so I've got basic information like my email address, all that good stuff. One thing that our app does have is you can assign collectors to the customer record. And so you can see right here, basically what we have is this is simply just a drop down of all your users in the system. So if you're a larger company, you can say, hey, you know what, Ryan's the collector for these 25 customers, or Barb is the collector for these other 50. And right now I'm going to leave this, I'm going to assign B Althouse to this customer. And then as I go through the demo, I'm going to show you how that kind of comes into play. So our app does, it does allow you to store and tokenize credit card and ACH information. So if I hop in here to our window called iPayments, you can see I've got one credit card stored as default. So go ahead and pull that up. And if you ever need to make any changes, you can do that within this window. If you want to verify the card information, let's just know that was approved. And as I mentioned, we do have the ability to do ACH. So if you make that little toggle change, you would just enter your bank account information right there. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that window. And now I'm going to hop over into our collections window that you see right here. And essentially what we built within this main window is just a summary level information of everything that you would need to know about your customer. So if this is a problematic customer, you could see, their unposted sales, and this would help you prevent any future issues that you might have with the customer. Up here, we have what we call header level notes. And so this would be, if you want to make a phone call or an email based on all their open invoices, you would make this up here at the header level. However, if you want to get granular and make more of what we call a invoice level note, you would click down here in the grid and you'll hit notes. And then you can see before the call, I made a demo and said, hey, I emailed the customer, and you can add reminder dates and all that good stuff. So I'm going to tab off of there. As I mentioned, we really, designed this just to be a one-stop shop where everything you would need with your customers all in one place. So if your customer calls in and says, hey Ryan, I never got any of my invoices or I've lost them, all you have to do is simply, highlight all these. You hit send email, and we do have a template where you can say you can plug in your subject. However, you can change this on the fly if you wanted to. So if you want to say, hey, attach make it more personable, you could do that. One thing we added on our latest release is, obviously within Business Central, you can have multiple contacts. So if you say, well, you know what, I really wanted to go to this contact versus that one, you'd select which contact you want to go to. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and hit send email. And that's going to let me know that the email was sent successfully. I'm going to hop over to my email here. You're going to see all the invoices attached. And one thing that is a little bit unique as well is if you open up the invoice, we do have a pay link at the bottom too. So if you click this pay link, you can click this guy and it's going to go to a hosted payment page where we're passing in the invoice number, the customer number, and then the actual dollar amount. And this is actually one of our customers we picked up, and they only want to turn on ACH because they didn't want to, have the credit card fees. So you can do that as well on these pages. So I'm going to go ahead and hop back over here. Also, within this window, you have the option to do a cash receipt. And so if you got a check that came in for $1,000, you just simply, highlight all your transactions, hit cash receipt. Then if I were to hit yes, it would go ahead and make the journal entry, and then, these will be wiped off the grid. One thing I actually forgot to mention was these buckets over here are dynamic. So if you were to come in here and you're like, gosh, Ryan, I really just want to focus on my 91 and over bucket, you can hit 91 and over, and then this grid down here is dynamically going to change and show you what makes up that bucket. So then if I hop in and just show all outstanding, then you're going to see everything that's outstanding right here. One thing that we do have over here as well is we have the last action and then last note taken against these invoices. So you can see here it says, hey, I emailed this customer on 6/30, they're open invoices, and it just lets you know that the effort was made. Okay, so if someone called in and said, hey Ryan, I'd like to pay these by credit card, just these two invoices, you would highlight these two, you'd hit our iPayments window. It's going to just verify the dollar amount. You're going to hit yes. And you do have the option to enter a card on the fly, or since I already have one that's stored and tokenized, I can just go ahead and select that guy, hit capture. And it's going to let me know that 2 cash journals were created. So if I tab off of here, you're going to see those 2 transactions just dropped off my grid. We do have the ledger information here as well. So if there was ever a time where you needed to, apply a credit memo to invoice, you can do that within this window, and it's, all here in one place. So now I'm going to hop over to our collections manager window, and let's go ahead and find that in front of my home page. And so when I first went into the customer card, I told you that you could assign collectors, and I don't think I've got any that I'm assigned to, but however, the first thing you're going to do is within this window, you're going to say, hey, do I want to age by posting date, doc date, or due date? So I'm going to age by due date. However, I'm not assigned to any customers. So I would just hit this toggle, and then it's going to show everything in the system that's open. So if you want to divvy that up, you would only see the things that you're assigned to as a collector. If I hit notes, it's going to show me all the notes in the system that I entered. However, if you want to see notes that other people entered, you just simply take that toggle off there, and everything would show up right here. This grid, you can interactively sort it. You can export it to Excel. And one thing we did add to this latest release is we added the last action date and then the last remark. And in the future, people have asked us for, like a full-blown AR aging with all the notes. We do have the ability to do that, and that's something we're working on. So within this grid, if you sorted and sifted it, and you're like, gosh, you know what, I really want to focus in on Innovia Consulting, you would simply just hit Innovia Consulting, the customer number, and it's going to take you back to the collections window that I was in just a couple minutes ago. And then from there, you can take your notes, send your emails, and do whatever you need to do. So that really covers like our collections module inside of BC. As I mentioned, we do have a sync with a tool called invoice.com. And the best way to describe this is it's almost like billpay.com, except it's on the accounts receivable side versus the AP side. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how that works. So I'm going to go to our sync window. And right here we have our API plugin for invoice.com. If this is a brand new project, the first thing we would do is we'd go up here to actions and we would sync our customers. It's going to let me know that 11 of 13 customers were synced. It does require an email address on the customer record. So if I didn't have that populated, I would have to go back and make that setting change and then sync again. So then the next thing we would do is we'd sync all of our open invoices. So if I hop back over to invoice.com, you're going to see that my customers are over here, and then my invoices are starting to fill up. I've got my dashboard that shows me what everyone owes me with all my different buckets. I'd say the most powerful tool with invoice.com is it's got a automated chasing tool, and this is really where you can put your AR on autopilot. And so basically what a cadence is, it's the same thing as a workflow, and you can have different workflows for different customers. So in this particular cadence that I'm looking at is it's letting me know that, hey, step one is it's going to, when a customer is past 20 days, it's going to send an email reminder. And then step two is it's going to send a 30 days past reminder. And then it gets a little more aggressive as time goes on when people don't pay you. And I'd say the second most powerful thing about this tool is it allows customers to pay their own invoices. So I just sync this, so it's probably going to be a second before they come over in my email. So let me go ahead and I'll go over these settings, and then the invoices should be in my email. So the first section up here is going to be when those payments come back in, where they're going to hit through the ledger. So right here, we're saying, hey, this is going to go to my bank account. However, you do have the option to plug that to a GL account. One thing that's really nice about invoice.com is you can pass on convenience fees. So what a lot of people do is they say, hey, if you pay me by credit card, we're going to add on a 3% convenience fee, but it's free for ACH. And when that payment comes back in, we're going to bring that convenience fee into this this general ledger account right there. Let me hop back, and so yeah, my email just threw up, and I'm going to click on one of these emails, and this is going to be what your end customer sees, and this is what we call like a customer facing portal. So you would have obviously your logo on there, and this would be your brand, your look. And so then once they get their email, they can click on the attachment to view the invoice, or if they just want to click view invoice right here, they would go ahead and click that. If your end customer had a question about the invoice, to say, hey, then this is the pricing we talked about, or can you call me? I have some questions. You would enter that right here, and then that would get routed back to the invoice, and then your internal AR team would get notified that there was a question on the invoice. If your customer wanted to hit my account, they would see everything that's open. And this is a click to pay solution. So they could pay the full balance, or they could say, you know what, I really just want to pay these 2 invoices right now. And then they're going to hit next. And then from here, you can say, hey, pay by ACH. And for this example, I'm going to pay by credit card. And right now I've got the convenience fee option turned off, but that would be within the settings of invoice.com. So now I'm going to go ahead and hop over here and enter the dummy Visa card. All their address information. If this is a recurring customer, they can save their payment information for next time. So I'm going to go ahead and hit pay. And then once they pay the bill, you would get alerted, and then the customer would also get emailed the cash receipt. And they can download from here as well. So really the last piece of this is getting the payment back into Business Central. So we have a, let me go to my window where we import those in. So your customer can, manually just come in here once a day and hit import in payments. And, it's going to let me know that 3 payments were imported. And if I did have a convenience fee, the convenience fee would be a 4th line, and that would go to the general ledger account. So there you go. Those are the 3 payments I have. So, those are paid. And then you can, obviously set this up as a schedule to run automated in the background. So let's hop back over here real quick. I'm going to show you where you can add the convenience fee. Yeah, so if I were to set up a convenience fee, we could enter 3%, 2%, or however you want to do that. And we'll hop back and see my dashboard. This can be all customized as well. So there's a lot of cool things you can do to, get reporting, everything. You can get it out to Excel and a lot more. So given that, does anybody have any questions?
Can you show me the cash receipts journal where the transactions?
Yeah, totally. I think I have auto post turned on. Yeah, if I didn't have it, they would be landing right here. Would you like for me to turn that off, the auto post, and we can just go ahead and do one?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, let's do that. Let's turn that off, and I add a convenience fee. And let's go back here. You see my receipts. So go ahead and pay this. All right, now let's go ahead and import those guys back in. What do most of your customers use for things like this right now?
Pardon me?
What do most of your customers use right now?
Well, it just depends on the situation. If they have a bunch of checks, they'll use the deposit form. The credit cards, I'm not really sure. Most likely they are using a cash receipts journal, and Charge Logic will bring those in.
Oh, okay. So yeah, here's the 3 invoices I just paid, and then there's the convenience fee that you see right there. So now we'll go ahead and look at the cash journal. And there you go. So we have the payment on the left side, and then my convenience fee hit the GL revenue account right there. And then here's the documents they applied to.
So those document numbers will match the document number transaction for the payment from your site, from the iSolutions. Is that right? Or is that a number series set up in VC SaaS? If you go
That
back to the
number
document
there,
number.
go back to the document number. Are you talking about this one right here, the apply to document?
No, if you scroll back over to the left, that document number there.
Oh yeah, that's from BC.
Okay,
So
okay,
we
thank
have
you.
we have a number sequence called iPay, and that's where it's generating those numbers. So
Thank you.
yep, you're welcome. Anything you guys see you like, don't like, say, hey Ryan, why don't you add that? All right. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, you guys want to wrap it up?
All right. Well, thank you, Ryan, for your presentation today.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
No problem. And hey, we do want to let you know too that there's a couple more webinars coming up very soon. In fact, this afternoon, Daniel Palmer from Innovia Consulting will be presenting on word layout content controls, and that's at 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Next Tuesday, Marguerite Manelski from Innovia Consulting will be presenting on the value of vendor ratings and JET reports at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. As always, you can see all of our upcoming events. That's at innovia.com/events. And just to remind you too,
cool.
we have a podcast going, the Innovia Conversation. We want to encourage you to listen to our selection that Steve and Jeff have provided. They do about 2 episodes a month, and you can find all of those platforms that you can listen on at innovia.com/podcasts. So check that out as well. And then finally, Innovia Consulting is proud to be a premier sponsor at Community Summit this year. That's October 6th through 9th in Nashville, Tennessee. Summit is the annual gathering for all Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central NAV users and supporters. The event is full of great sessions to help you develop your leadership skills, improve your NAV and BC skills, and learn how to get the most from the investment your companies have made. So check out the conference page. That's innovia.com/conferences for more details and to save on your summit registration. It's looking like no more questions have come on. So thank you again, Ryan, for presenting today. And we want to thank everyone else for joining us too. So we look forward to seeing you the next time we have an Innovia webinar. Yeah, have a great one, Ryan.
All right, thanks you. Bye-bye.